What's going on my fantasy football fans? It's Waiver Wire Queen. Don't sleep on these players I'm about to put you on to. These guys you should be checking for in later rounds in fantasy football, especially in dynasty leagues. So don't sleep on these players because these guys are going to take it to the next level. So we're going to jump right into it and get ready for our drafts because we are excited for the 2021 season. I'm super excited and I know you guys are as well. So my first player that I don't want you guys to sleep on, and I know you're not sleeping on, Darnell Mooney, wide receiver with the Chicago Bears. Last season, he actually had over 630 receiving yards, which is impressive considering the issues with the quarterbacks out there. You had Foles out there, you had Mitch out there. It was a hot mess. So with more stability at the quarterback position, we're going to hope that Dalton bring that to the table, and Mooney is going to be starting opposite of Robinson. You know what Allen Robinson could do? They traded Miller away because they're like, Mooney, it's your time to shine. So I look forward to Mooney surpassing 700 receiving yards. So he may even hit 800 or more. It just really depends on what Andy Dalton does. They obviously believe in him. We're hearing great things early on about Mooney as well as Dalton. So we're gonna say that Mooney should be slept on. And if you're sleeping, wake up and stop sleeping on Darnell Mooney. Another player that I hope you're not sleeping on, because Waiver Wire Queen's not sleeping on, Blake Jarwin with the Dallas Cowboys. We all were expecting him to have his breakout season last year because, at times, previous 2 seasons, him and Dak were connecting, but obviously there were other tight ends in the building who needed to kind of retire and let the young man get out there and play. And so, went and decided to retire. And guess what? Blake Jarwin was ready last year to assume that starting role full-time, tore his ACL, missed the whole season. I expect him to come back this year and play well. Obviously, there are several mouths to feed out there in Dallas. You got CeeDee Lamb, Cooper, obviously Elliott. You got a lot of mouths to feed. And and Gallup. But Dak is going to get everyone involved. They're going to pass the ball more. And Blake Jarwin is going to have a nice bounce back year. So if you are looking for a tight end late, he is going to be available, especially in 2 tight end leagues. If I'm in a 2 tight end league, I want to have more than 3 tight ends. I want to at least be in that 4 to 6 range in the 2 tight end league because you really don't know what's going to happen. And if you have to start 2, then you're going to want to have somebody to come in off your bench just in case something happens. And Blake Jarwin is definitely a great option. So don't sleep and check him out late, or you can pick him up, I'm sure, via free agency. Another player that we're not going to sleep on, and we had it wrong last year, but we got it right this year, Mecole Hardman. We all thought last year was the year he was going to take the next step. First 2 seasons, over 500 receiving yards. Didn't go as expected. He was splitting his time with several other wide receivers. His snap percentage was all over the place, 30, 50, 60, 20. It was just all over the place. So most people were pretty much obviously leaving him on waivers and not checking for him. If you have him in Dynasty League, you probably just left him on at the end of your bench, or if you had Taxi Squad, you left him there as well. Obviously, Watkins has left the building. He's on Baltimore now. Mecole Hardman has been showing out in training camp and would love to be the full-time starter opposite of Hill. Obviously, you got Kels and Hill, who are obviously the primary targets, but considering Mecole Hardman playing half of the time or slightly less than half of the time out there and getting over 500 yards, if he can get that to 80, 85 and above, we're going to see him hit 700, maybe even more than that this season. I'm looking forward to seeing him and Mahomes connect for 40, 50 yard bombs for touchdown. All right. So Mecole Hardman, look for him late. Wide receiver 51. Check for him in later rounds, especially in dynasty leagues. Okay. Another player we're not sleeping on him, but we definitely are checking for him. And he has a lot to prove. Gerald Everett, he was on the Rams. Him and Higbee were splitting time. It was pretty much, they went with the hot hand. And guess what? Gerald Everett signed with the Seattle Seahawks. And now he's going to be receiving passes from one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Russell Wilson. So this instantly gives him a boost. And plus, he's going to be the starter, in my opinion. We're hearing really good things about him. Pete Carroll pretty much said that he's going to have a breakout season. That's what we're expecting. He's tight end 19. He had over 400 yards the last 2 seasons, considering he was splitting snaps with Higbee. He is now going to be that guy. Obviously, there are mouths to feed that are going to be prioritized ahead of him, but I can see them utilizing him in the red zone. I want to say he is probably the most athletic tight end that Wilson has had. You know, when Graham signed, was a little bit almost pretty much out of his prime. So Everett is a lot younger. They're going to get him involved. I'm looking forward to seeing that 400 yards a season turn into 600, 650, and maybe 5-6 touchdowns. So if you can pick up Gerald Everett late, go on and prioritize him and pick him up late. It'll be a great late sleeper, great option late in a 2 tight end league. Or you may be able to pick him up in free agency if you already had your draft. Another player we're not going to sleep on, because we don't sleep on anybody. And we weren't sleeping on him last year, but he was a rookie. Mecole Pittman Jr. with the Colts. Okay, y'all, let him hear me out. I know Wentz is hurt. At some point, he's going to come back, obviously. He's going to be a better option than Phillip Rivers, in my opinion, because at times Rivers was kind of inconsistent. And Pittman, he was injured, still had over 500 receiving yards. Once Carson Wentz returns, I believe he's going to be that guy, and you can see him at 700, maybe 800 receiving yards. They're going to look to get Pittman involved. If Carson Wentz can come back to start the season, I'm hoping, and we're expecting him to be the Carson Wentz before the last 2 years in Philly. We're expecting the Carson Wentz when he was playing MVP caliber football. Doesn't have to be 100% that guy, but he has to be that guy that's going to get Pittman the ball enough so he can have his breakout season. And I'm expecting a breakout season for Pittman. You're building off of the 500 yards receiving this past season, and you're going to, be consistent. He's going to end up being that guy. They still have T.Y. in the mix, but it's going to be Mecole Pittman's world once Carson Wentz returns. All right, y'all, hit that subscribe button for more videos like this, and to continue to see videos like this and make that YouTube algorithm go crazy. Hit that like button. Y'all leave some comments and let me know what players you guys feel people are sleeping on, and who are you checking for in the later rounds in the draft. Y'all have a great evening. Peace.